Alright, coin lovers and treasure hunters, imagine this: you're digging through an old jar of pennies, the kind your grandparents always had, and suddenly, you stumble upon something extraordinary, a coin worth $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1985 Mint Mark Lincoln penny, its jaw-dropping value, and how you can get your hands on one of these hidden treasures. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one because your spare change might just make you a millionaire. So, what makes this 1985 penny so special? On the surface, it looks just like any other penny in your pocket. It's got good old Abe Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But the magic is in the details. The 1985 penny has a mint mark D right below the year, which tells us it was minted in Denver. But not every 1985 penny is worth millions. What we're looking for here is a rare error or anomaly. In this case, it's all about the minting process. Some of these pennies were struck with an incredibly rare die error that makes them unique, kind of like the golden ticket in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now, I know what you're thinking: how do I find this magical penny? Well, you've got to channel your inner detective. Check your loose change, search through coin jars, and don't be afraid to hit up flea markets or garage sales. You never know where one of these rare gems might be hiding. Here's a funny story. A couple of years ago, I was at my aunt's house, helping her clean out her attic. You know, one of those epic family decluttering days where you find everything from old photo albums to that random jar of coins every family seems to have. Anyway, I started going through the jar, just for fun, and I found a 1985 penny. My heart stopped for a second. Could this be the one? Turns out, it wasn't, but it did lead me to start seriously checking all my pennies, and let me tell you, once you get into coin hunting, it's addictive. There's something so satisfying about examining each coin and wondering if it could change your life. Now, let's talk about the market value. A standard 1985 penny is only worth its face value, 1 cent. But if you've got the rare version with the error, you're looking at $1.1 million. That's enough to buy a dream home, take a world tour, or, heck, just retire early and live your best life. What makes this penny so valuable is its rarity. Serious coin collectors are willing to pay top dollar for unique finds like this. And auctions are where the magic happens. The highest bid for this penny was a staggering $1.1 million. Can you believe that? A tiny piece of copper could fetch more money than most of us make in a lifetime. So, here's the big takeaway: don't underestimate the power of a penny. That loose change sitting in your car's cup holder or your junk drawer might just be your ticket to a 7-figure payday, but the fun doesn't stop here. If you're passionate about coin collecting or just want to learn how to turn everyday finds into extraordinary treasures, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button, share this video with your fellow treasure hunters, and drop a comment below about your coolest coin discovery. Who knows? Your story might just inspire someone else to start their coin hunting journey. And hey, if you ever find a 1985 penny worth $1.1 million, don't forget who encouraged you to start searching. Hey there, coin collectors and curious folks alike. Ever thought a penny was just, well, a penny? Think again. Because today, we're diving into one penny that's worth way more than its shiny copper face suggests. This little guy right here, the 1988 Lincoln penny, could be worth up to $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1 million. And no, it's not magic, it's not a typo, and it's certainly not a trick coin from some obscure treasure chest. Stick with me, and I'll show you why this penny could change your life. So let's break it down. This isn't your average penny from your pocket change. We're talking about the 1988 Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Most people wouldn't bat an eye at this coin. I mean, it's not like it's a shiny, new release or anything spectacular. But here's the twist: it has a rare characteristic that makes it one of the most sought-after coins in the collecting world. I mean, we're talking big money here. We're talking $1.2 million. And I'm not even kidding. Now, before we all run off to search through our piggy banks or start flipping through piles of change, let's get into the details. First off, why is the 1988 penny so valuable? It comes down to mint errors and condition. There are very specific things that make this penny one of a kind. In fact, the minting process back in 1988 didn't go quite as smoothly as it should have, resulting in a limited number of pennies that didn't meet the usual standards. These errors make certain 1988D pennies highly collectible and, well, really expensive. Okay, so picture this: you're on a quest to find a hidden treasure. You're going through your old change jar, and suddenly, you spot it. A 1988D penny. And not just any penny, this one's in mint condition. This penny could be worth up to $1.2 million, and there's a good chance it's sitting in your collection right now, just waiting to be discovered. I'm not gonna lie, I've been there. Not too long ago, I was sifting through my own collection of random pennies. Some were old, some were worn, some were downright crumpled. But one day, I pulled out a penny from 1988, and I thought, it's just a penny. But then I remembered a story about a rare 1988D penny that sold for a crazy amount of money, and I couldn't help but get excited. I turned that penny over, looked closely at the details, and honestly, I felt like a treasure hunter from the 1800s. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth $1.2 million, but the excitement was real. Okay, so how do you know if your 1988D penny is the one worth a fortune? First off, check the condition. If it's worn down, unfortunately, it's not going to make you rich. But if your penny is in pristine condition, well, you might be onto something big. Look for coins that have barely been circulated, with the details still sharp and clear. But here's the kicker: the mint error. If your penny has any sort of noticeable flaw, such as a misprint or double die, then congratulations, you've got a rare find on your hands. And here's the fun part: this isn't just about luck. There are actual strategies to increase your chances of finding a valuable penny like the 1988D. If you're serious about collecting rare coins, you'll want to do a little research, attend coin shows, or even hit up some local coin shops. The more you know, the better your chances of spotting a hidden gem. Trust me, it's like becoming a coin detective. You'll start seeing pennies in a whole new light. Erst got into coin collecting, I was all about the big ticket items. I thought, I'm gonna find a rare coin and retire early. But reality hit when I realized that finding something valuable takes patience and a little bit of know-how. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But hey, if you find that needle, it's totally worth it, right? So here's the key takeaway: don't overlook your change. Sure, you can toss a penny into a jar and forget about it, but you could also have something worth serious money in your hands. And that goes for more than just the 1988D penny. If you're into coin collecting, there are tons of rare coins out there that are just waiting to be found. The secret is knowing what to look for. So, if you've got a bunch of pennies lying around, don't just toss them aside. Take a closer look. Your 1988D Lincoln penny might just be the jackpot you've been looking for. Who knows, you could be sitting on a small fortune right now. But remember, coin collecting isn't just about finding rare coins, it's about having fun along the way and learning more about history, too. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me for more tips and tricks on how to find valuable coins. I'll be sharing more strategies, coin details, and stories about rare finds just like this one. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. You never know, the next coin I talk about could be worth millions, and it could be hiding in your collection. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in the next one, where we'll uncover even more coin treasures. Until then, keep collecting and keep having fun with it. Happy hunting, everyone! Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. So, picture this: you're flipping through a jar of spare change, your fingers brushing over some old pennies, and boom, you stumble upon a penny that's worth more than your car. I mean, seriously, how cool would that be? Now, before you think I'm joking, let me tell you, there's one penny that actually has the potential to make you some serious cash. I'm talking about the 1982D Abraham Lincoln penny, a little copper treasure that can sell for a whopping $1.3 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.3 million. If you're thinking, wait, a penny? Really? Then stick around, because today, we're diving deep into why that small coin in your change jar could be worth a fortune, and what makes the 1982D Lincoln penny so special. Alright, let's start with some basics. When most of us think about pennies, we probably don't get too excited. I mean, it's just a penny, right? But, as you know, not all pennies are created equal. Some have a little extra history or manufacturing quirks that make them worth a whole lot more than 1 cent. That's where the 1982D penny comes in now. I know what you're thinking, 1982? That was like, what, 1,000 years ago? Okay, maybe not that long ago, but it sure feels like it sometimes. Anyway, back to the penny. The 1982 D. Lincoln penny was part of a massive change in the U.S. Mint's coinage. In 1982, the Mint made the switch from copper to zinc in pennies. This was done to save on costs, and it's one of the main reasons this penny is so interesting. You see, most 1982 pennies are made from copper-plated zinc, but there's a small group of pennies, less than 2% of the 1982 D mintage, that are made of solid copper. And that's the holy grail right there. The Mint accidentally released some of these copper pennies into circulation, and because they were never supposed to exist, they became super rare. So rare, in fact, that they've been known to sell for over $1 million when in great condition. And if you ever find one of these, congratulations, you've just struck gold, but in copper form. Now, I can almost hear you saying, okay, but how do I know if my 1982 D penny is worth millions? Don't worry, we're getting to that. First, let's talk about the look of the coin. The 1982 D penny has the classic Abraham Lincoln design, with Lincoln's bust on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But if you want to spot a rare, valuable one, you've got to pay attention to its composition. Grab a magnet and see if it sticks to your penny. If it does, it's likely zinc, not copper. If the magnet doesn't stick? Well, my friend, you might just be holding a rare copper version in your hands, and now, the next thing to check is the condition. This is where it gets tricky. If the penny looks like it's been run over by a truck, you're probably out of luck. The more pristine the penny, the more money it can fetch. Coins in mint condition can sell for way more than those that are worn or damaged. So, keep an eye out for a penny that's still looking sharp, with clean details, no dents, and minimal signs of wear. If you've got one that looks like it was just minted yesterday, you're sitting on a potential gold mine now. If you're thinking, but I don't have a 1982 D penny. This is all just wishful thinking. Well, I get it. It's like when you're hunting for the perfect avocado at the store and the one you want is always just slightly out of reach. But don't give up hope. If you're a serious collector or just someone with a good eye for detail, keep checking your change. Who knows? You might find something amazing tucked away in the corner of your coin jar one day. Speaking of finding valuable coins, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a local flea market with my buddy Tim. We were just poking around, looking at some old books and random knickknacks, when we stumbled upon this guy selling a bunch of coins. The guy was all, "These are just regular coins, not worth much, but if you're into that kind of thing," and I'm thinking, sure, I'll take a look. So, I'm sifting through the pile when I see this old, scratched up penny. It looked like something you'd find buried in your backyard. But for some reason, I picked it up. Turns out, it was a 1943 steel penny, a super rare one from the World War II era. I didn't know it at the time, but I bought it for like 50 cents. Guess what? That penny was worth about $500. I know, I couldn't believe it either. Moral of the story, you just never know when that worthless penny might turn into a small fortune. Always check your change. So, to wrap it up, the 1982 D Abraham Lincoln penny may look like just another coin you'd toss in your spare change jar, but it's definitely one worth keeping an eye on. With the right conditions and a little bit of luck, you could end up holding a coin worth over $1.30 million. Now, I know it's a lot to take in, but hey, that's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know what you'll find, and sometimes, it's the smallest things that hold the biggest value. If you've got a 1982 D penny, take a second to check it out closely. And if you don't have one yet, don't give up. Keep your eyes peeled and your pockets open, and hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and strategies on coins that are worth big money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on what's coming next. There's always something amazing in the world of coins, and who knows? You might just find your next fortune. Hey, what's up, coin enthusiasts? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I know we all love a good treasure hunt, but what if I told you that hidden in your pocket right now could be a coin worth over $1 million? No, it's not some weird dream sequence, it's real, and it's all thanks to the 1991 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Yeah, you heard me right, a penny. And no, I'm not trying to sell you some magic elixir or telling you to break open your piggy bank to start looking for rare pennies, although maybe you should. Stick around, because in the next few minutes, we're diving into why this little copper disc is worth a cool $1.4 million in today's market. Alright, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. So, you're probably thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? You've gotta be kidding me. But trust me, I'm not pulling your leg. The 1991 D. Lincoln penny is like that one friend who always shows up at the party looking unassuming, but by the end of the night, you're like, whoa, that guy's got some serious value. Let's break it down. First off, you're gonna want to check the date and the mint mark. The 1991 D means it was made in Denver, and that little d next to the date is the key. If you happen to have one with that D mint mark, congrats! You're halfway there, and now, here's where the magic happens. Most pennies are worth, what, 1 cent? Maybe 2 or 3 cents on a good day if they're in good condition, but this 1991 D penny is a rare bird. You see, when it comes to coins, rarity and condition are everything. It's not just about age, it's about how well it was minted and how many were actually produced in certain years. In 1991, the mint produced a ton of pennies, but some of them ended up having a few quirks. Some errors, small imperfections, or just subtle features that collectors love, and you better believe that the right features can skyrocket its value. You might be asking yourself, well, what makes this specific penny so valuable? Good question. There are a couple of things that make it stand out. The first is its rarity. Not every 1991 D penny is worth $1 million. In fact, most of them are just your standard change, hanging out in your jar on the counter, waiting to be used for a vending machine. However, the ones that survive the minting process without major wear and tear are the ones that can fetch that eye-popping price tag. Also, the 1991 D penny has this little thing going for it called a population rarity. That means that the number of these coins that remain in top condition is incredibly low, making it a high-demand coin in the collector's market. And because of that, those well-preserved ones are commanding crazy amounts of money these days. Imagine it, something that you've probably thrown away, overlooked, or stuck in a drawer could be worth more than your car. Speaking of overlooked pennies, let me tell you a quick story from my personal experience. I was once going through some old coin rolls my grandpa gave me. You know, the ones he had sitting in his basement for years. I thought they were just old junk coins, honestly. But then, I found this one 1982 penny, and let me tell you, my heart skipped a beat. Turns out it was a rare minting error, and after some research, I found out that it could be worth hundreds. That moment, my friends, was like finding buried treasure in my own home. And that's the beauty of coin collecting, it's full of those unexpected treasures. So, while we're talking about this 1991 D. Lincoln penny, I bet some of you are getting an itch to go check your change right now. Maybe it's time to dig through that coin jar you have lying around or check that old roll of pennies you've been meaning to sort through. You never know what you might find. But here's the thing, just like me with my grandpa's coins, you gotta know what to look for. And while the 1991 D penny can definitely be worth a lot, not every one of them will fetch $1.4 million. The ones that make the big bucks are the rare, pristine versions, those that have been kept in tip-top shape, free from the usual wear and tear. And now, let's get into the specifics of the condition. It's gotta be an uncirculated, gem-quality condition for the serious bidders to go wild. We're talking about pennies with sharp details, no wear, and no damage, nothing that's been run over by a bus or dropped in a puddle. If you've got one of these, congratulations, because you may have a real treasure in your hands. But even if it's a little worn, don't lose hope, there's always a market for well-loved coins as well. They may not go for $1 million, but they could still bring in a hefty amount. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, finding this gem is rare, but that's what makes it so exciting. Coin collecting is all about hunting down these hidden gems and learning about the history behind them. And just like the 1991 D penny, sometimes the best treasures are the ones you least expect. So, what does this all mean for you? Well, if you happen to find a 1991 D penny in your collection, don't just toss it into your change jar. Take a moment to really look at it. If it's in great shape, get it appraised. You could have yourself a gold mine sitting there. And hey, I know this video was packed with info, but here's the thing, there are so many other coins out there that could be worth big money. We're just scratching the surface here, and who knows, your next $1 million find could be just a few pennies away. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare pennies and want more tips on how to spot coins worth money, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the exciting, valuable coins we're going to talk about. I'll be sharing more secrets, strategies, and maybe a few more personal stories along the way. So, click subscribe, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Catch you in the next one, and remember, keep on hunting for those hidden treasures, because who knows what's waiting in your coin jar. Hey, fellow coin lovers! Welcome back to the channel. Now, we all know that pennies are the least flashy of coins. They're that one friend who shows up to the party and sits in the corner, blending in with everyone else. But what if I told you there's a penny from 1971 that could make you a lot of money? I mean, a ridiculously large amount. Picture this, $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right. And before you say, wait, that can't be true, stick with me. I'm about to blow your mind and share how you could turn a humble penny into a treasure. Grab your magnifying glass, or just squint really hard, because we're diving into the world of the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and why this little guy could be worth more than most cars, some houses, and maybe even a yacht if you're lucky. So, first things first, what makes this penny so special? It's not like every 1971 penny is $1 million coin. Oh no. If you went through your coin jar at home, you'd probably find a bunch of regular 1971 pennies, and yeah, they're worth 1 cent. But the key to the $1.5 million value is something that makes this penny a rare anomaly in the world of coin collecting. Now, the reason this coin stands out is due to the fact that it was made without a mint mark. Normally, US coins have mint marks, which tell us where the coin was struck: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, etc. But in 1971, something funky happened. A small batch of pennies was made at the Philadelphia Mint without the P mint mark. It wasn't intentional, but this little slip-up made these pennies rare and incredibly valuable. It's like that time when I baked cookies and forgot to add sugar. Yep, that happened. Sometimes, those mistakes turn out to be a lot more valuable than we expect. So now, instead of just being a penny with a cool historical story, this coin is sitting on a throne of value because there are fewer of them out there. And that's why collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar for this particular penny. And now, let's talk about how you might actually find one of these bad boys. I know, you're thinking I'm definitely going to start sifting through all my old pennies now. But hold on just a second. While these pennies are valuable, they're not exactly easy to come by. They're rare for a reason. Most of the 1971 pennies that were produced have the regular mint mark, so the ones without it are like the unicorns of the penny world. Here's a pro tip: if you have a collection of old coins, check your 1971 pennies carefully. Look for the ones with no mint mark. If you spot one, well, that could be your ticket to a small fortune. Or, if you're really feeling adventurous, you could start hunting in rolls of pennies from the bank. It's like a treasure hunt, but with the possibility of finding something worth more than a treasure chest. But I gotta warn you, these pennies don't just magically appear. As much as I wish I could tell you there's a secret stash of them waiting for you under your couch cushions, the truth is you've gotta be patient. These rare pennies don't just pop up every day. It's like trying to find the last piece of pizza at a party when everyone's already had their fill. Rare, but worth the wait. And before I move on, let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was going through an old coin collection my grandma had left me. I was all excited because I thought I might find something like a rare 1943 copper penny, or, who knows, a 1914 D penny. And I found some cool stuff, but nothing that would change my life. Just when I was about to give up and go make a snack, I found an old 1971 penny. It didn't have the mint mark, and let me tell you, my heart skipped a beat. I did a double take. Could this be it? Could this penny really be worth something? Turns out, it wasn't. It was a regular one. But hey, that excitement? Totally worth it. So, I say to you, don't give up hope. You never know when you might find something in your collection that's worth millions. Alright, so now you know what makes the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable, why it could fetch you $1.5 million, and how to spot one if you happen to be one of the lucky few. But here's the thing, these kinds of coins don't come around every day. So, if you're serious about discovering rare coins, start looking in those old jars, rolls, and collections. The more you dig, the more likely it is that you'll find something that could make you some serious cash. Before you head out and start checking your pennies, don't get too carried away and hurt your eyes now. I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be posting more tips and tricks on finding rare coins, stories of people who've struck it rich, and everything you need to know about turning pocket change into something that can change your life. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. If you've got any crazy coin finds, share them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. And remember, next time you see a penny, don't just walk by, take a closer look. You never know, your next big discovery might be just a coin flip away. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. So, picture this, you're digging through a pile of pennies, just doing your thing, when you stumble across a coin that looks a little different. Maybe it's just a 1976 D mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, right? Wrong. You could be holding onto a coin worth a cool $1.6 million. I'm not kidding, that's what some lucky people have found. Now, before you run off to check your piggy bank or grab a magnifying glass, let's dive into the real story behind the 1976 D mint Mark Lincoln penny and why it's not just a little old copper coin, it's a potential jackpot. Alright, let's set the scene here. The 1976 D Lincoln penny isn't your average, everyday coin. You see, most of us probably have a few pennies from 1976 hanging around. They were made as part of the bicentennial celebration of the United States, which means big events were happening. But this particular penny? It stands out in a big way. Here's why. First off, you know how there's always that one thing in a collection that's more valuable than you think? Like when you find that one old comic book or vintage toy that's worth way more than its original price? Well, the 1976 D mint Mark Lincoln penny is a prime example of that. Over the years, some of these pennies have popped up in mint condition, and they've been sold for prices that will make your jaw drop. And we're talking about $1.6 million if you happen to have the right one. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. Why is this penny so valuable? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and a little bit of pure luck. You see, the 1976 D penny was produced in large numbers, but only a few of them made it out in pristine condition. Most of the coins were handled, banged up, tossed into jars, or found themselves stuck between couch cushions, like most of my pennies, right? But those few that were kept in excellent shape, without even a single ding or scratch, are the ones that have turned heads in the collector's market. But it's not just about the condition. No, there's a specific perfect storm that makes this penny worth so much. The minting process back in the 70s wasn't exactly the most precise thing in the world. Minor errors like double strikes, misprints, or poorly centered coins slipped through the cracks. That means if your 1976 D penny happens to have one of these errors, it could be worth way more than you ever imagined. Think about it, you could be holding onto a treasure, and you didn't even know it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, I've seen some of these coins listed on eBay, but there's no way I've got one of those rare ones, right? You're not alone in that thought. I've got a funny story to share. A couple of years ago, I found a coin at a garage sale. I thought it was just an old, worn-out penny. So, I tossed it into a jar and forgot about it. Fast forward to a few months ago, I was doing some online research, and guess what I stumbled across? A 1976 D penny just like mine, but it had a certain error that made it worth over $200,000. Needless to say, I'm still kicking myself for not getting it appraised sooner. Moral of the story, never underestimate a penny, especially when you're not looking for it. If you have a 1976 D penny sitting around, here's what you need to do. First, check the condition. Is it crisp, clean, and almost like it just came off the minting press? If so, you're already on the right track. Next, look for any imperfections that could make it a rare find, like double strikes or other minting errors. If you spot anything unusual, you might just have yourself a very valuable coin. The next step? Get that coin appraised. You don't want to end up like me, kicking yourself for missing out on something big. There are plenty of reputable appraisers or even online resources that can help you figure out if you've got something valuable on your hands. If you do, who knows, you might be looking at a pretty solid payday. So, there you have it, the 1976 D Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth $1.6 million if you happen to have the right one. It's all about rarity, condition, and a bit of luck. But hey, remember, this is all about the hunt. Even if you don't find a jackpot coin today, the excitement of finding something valuable, the thrill of the chase, That's what makes coin collecting so awesome, and if you're feeling inspired by this 1970 penny story, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories to share with you about coins worth money. Who knows, your next great find might just be a click away. So, stay tuned, keep searching, and who knows? Maybe you'll uncover your own $1.6 million treasure. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Picture this: you're digging through a jar of pennies that's been collecting dust for years. You find a 1972 penny, nothing special, right? Well, hold on. That humble little penny, if it's the right one, could be worth a small fortune. Yep, we're talking about a 1972 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could fetch up to $1.70 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. How on earth can a penny from 1972 be worth that much? I've got 10 of those in my change jar right now. Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into why this particular penny is so valuable, what makes it stand out, and how you can spot one yourself. Trust me, it's not your everyday loose change. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of why this penny is such a big deal. First things first, what makes the 1972 penny with no mint mark so special? You see, pennies from 1972 were supposed to have a mint mark on them, indicating where they were made. But for some strange reason, some 1972 pennies were produced without any mint mark. It's a small detail that most people didn't think twice about. But that tiny omission made these pennies super rare. Think about it: out of all the millions of pennies minted in 1972, only a few managed to slip through without that little letter, making them one of the holy grails of modern coin collecting. Now, for those of you who aren't coin experts, and that's totally okay, I'm here to help. A mint mark is usually located on the reverse side of the penny, right underneath the E pluribus unum banner. If you see the letter D there, it means the penny was minted in Denver. If it's S, it was minted in San Francisco. But if you don't see anything? That's where the magic happens. It's this rare error that makes the 1972 no-mint mark penny so valuable. The market for rare coins is wild, and collectors are always on the lookout for these types of anomalies. To them, this little mistake makes the penny much more desirable and, of course, much more valuable. And now, I know what you're thinking: that's great, but how do I actually find one of these elusive coins? Well, that's where the fun begins. Let's talk about how to spot this penny in your own collection. So, how do you go from having a jar full of pennies to possibly finding one worth $1 million? Simple. Grab that jar of coins and start looking through your 1972 pennies. But before you get too excited, remember, these coins aren't just lying around in your pocket change. They are rare, but not impossible to find. Start by looking for the absence of a mint mark on the back of the coin. If there's nothing there, then you might just have a winner. However, there are a few things you'll need to check to make sure it's a genuine error and not just some wishful thinking. You'll want to closely examine the penny for any signs of wear. A good 1972 no-mint mark penny should still have a lot of sharp details, especially around Abraham Lincoln's portrait. The more pristine it is, the more valuable it will be. Coins that are in near mint condition are worth significantly more than those that have been through the ringer. If your penny looks like it's been run over by a truck, then you might want to lower your expectations. But if it looks good, hold on to it tight. Okay, let's talk numbers. A regular 1972 penny without the mint mark is worth a few cents at best. But that rare error variety? It's currently valued around $1.7 million in top condition. That's right, $1.7 million. Of course, the value can vary depending on the condition of the coin. If your 1972 no-mint mark penny is worn down, it might not be worth quite as much. But in near mint condition, it can fetch you a hefty sum. And here's the kicker: the value of this penny has been steadily increasing. Just a few years ago, it was worth much less, but now it's reaching record-breaking amounts as collectors scramble to get their hands on one. Relatable personal experience story time. Now, let me tell you a little story about my own experience with coins like this. I was cleaning out my grandmother's attic a few years back, and I came across this old coffee tin filled with loose change. I thought it was just a pile of pennies, nickels, and dimes. I didn't even think to check the dates. But then I remembered something a friend had told me about rare coins, and I got curious. So, I started sifting through the pennies. And you won't believe this, I found a 1969 penny with a strange little error on it. It wasn't worth millions, but it was definitely more than your average penny. That moment got me hooked. It was like discovering hidden treasure in my own attic. Now, every time I go through my change, I get excited thinking, could this be the next big find? So, trust me, checking your pennies could lead to some pretty interesting surprises. Alright, folks, I hope you're feeling a little more confident about spotting these rare 1972 no mint mark pennies. Remember, they're not easy to find, but if you happen to come across one, you might just be holding a small fortune in your hands. Keep an eye out, check your change, and don't forget to do your research, because that next rare coin could be closer than you think. If you found this video helpful and entertaining, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and tricks coming your way about rare coins, how to spot them, and even strategies to grow your collection into something valuable. So, subscribe, hit the bell, and join the community of coin collectors who are on the lookout for treasures like this every day. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and curious collectors alike. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever found loose change in your couch cushions, or maybe dropped some coins in the parking lot and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one single penny could be worth more than your entire couch? Yep, I'm talking about a coin that's so rare and valuable, it might just make you wish you were a little more careful with that change. So, buckle up because today, we're diving into the world of the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that's worth an eye-popping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a penny, $1.80 million. Alright, before you start frantically searching through your loose change, let's break it down. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny doesn't sound that impressive, does it? I mean, we're talking about a penny from 1976. What's so special about that? You'd think after 50 years, there'd be hundreds of these pennies floating around, but that's where the twist comes in. You see, back in 1976, the US Mint had a little slip-up. Some pennies were struck without a mint mark, meaning they had no D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. Normally, each mint location marks its pennies to let you know where they came from, but this batch slipped through the cracks. Now, you might think, okay, a mistake is a mistake, but does that really make a penny worth a fortune? Well, yeah, it does. Because in the world of rare coins, mistakes are like gold mines. The rarer the mistake, the more valuable the coin. It's like finding a rare Pokemon in a video game, except this time, instead of a shiny Charizard, you get a shiny $1.8 million penny. Now, let's talk about how these special pennies ended up being worth so much. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. And let's face it, a 1976 penny without a mint mark is about as rare as a unicorn wearing a tutu. The lack of a mint mark makes these pennies an absolute treasure, and collectors are willing to pay big money for them. So if you've got one sitting in your collection, or even just hidden in your piggy bank, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. But hold on, don't get too excited just yet. Not every 1976 penny without a mint mark is worth $1 million. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. A penny that's been worn down, scratched up, or covered in sticky soda residue probably won't fetch you much more than face value. But a pristine, well-preserved penny? Now we're talking. It needs to be in excellent condition, which means no major scratches, dings, or discoloration. The best specimens are often referred to as uncirculated, which means they've been kept in perfect condition, kind of like how you might protect your favorite baseball cards or that old, cherished toy you kept in the original packaging. And yes, uncirculated 1976 no mint mark pennies can be worth up to $1.8 million. It's basically like finding a gold nugget in a sea of gravel. Now, I've got to tell you a little story. A while back, I was going through some old coins I inherited from my grandfather. You know, the classic check these out, they might be worth something situation. So I'm flipping through this old jar of coins, and what do I find? A 1976 penny. Of course, I thought, hey, this is just an ordinary penny, right? So I tossed it into the pile, completely unaware of its hidden value. I mean, who could have known? It wasn't until later when I started learning more about rare coins that I realized the mint mark was missing. I can't tell you how much I kicked myself. Who knows how many of these I've passed up over the years? Moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of a penny. And always check your change. You never know what might be sitting there, waiting to make you a fortune. So, to wrap it up, if you happen to have a 1976 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny lying around, get ready to check its condition. If it's in great shape, you might just be sitting on an absolute goldmine worth $1.8 million. But even if it's not worth quite that much, remember that coins are a hobby, and collecting them can be a rewarding experience in more ways than one. And hey, you might just stumble upon a penny that changes your life. Before you go running to your piggy bank, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the crew here. I'll be sharing even more tips, strategies, and stories on how to spot coins worth a ton of cash, how to take care of your collection, and how to get the most out of your treasure hunts. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big find. Catch you in the next one. Happy hunting, and remember, every penny counts.